I was talking to myself for 5 minutes there before I realised I hadn't pressed the right button. But hello, it is Sunday evening again. So we are here at 7 o'clock now rather than 6:30. Everybody's forgotten, I bet, that it's 7 o'clock, but yeah, we are here 7 p.m. instead of 6:30 now, and going forward because it's lighter nights and basically I have to be outside when it's daylight. I've got too much to do. Can't sit here doing this. But I can't waste the daylight at the minute. I'm too busy. So when it gets dark, basically, I can come inside and do this. That's kind of the that is kind of the rule thing. Hello to everyone in the chat. Let's have a look who we have got in the old chat. Looks like Christopher's here. Can't see anybody else in it at the minute, though. So, are you there, Christopher? I think he's here. I think he's here, but I won't say for certain. But yeah, people appear because the now live on your channel thing that YouTube send out has now actually gone out. To them. Right, get rid of that. How do I get rid of all that now? Right, I think. Yeah. Oh, Gambo's here. Hi, Gambo. Yeah, as you can see, I'm up in the loft tonight. What did I have to do? I'm fairly sure last week somebody said to me, can you find this, or can you show us how to do this, something? And I said, I'll do it for next week. I've got to go and get it for next week. And I can't for the life of them remember what it was. So if anybody knows what it was, just yell, all right? In fact, don't yell, because I can't hear you. Type it in the chat. But yeah, we're up here in the loft this evening because I'm searching for bits for that unfrozen phone that we're going to be putting together, which we're going to turn into a red upside down wall phone, I believe. Yeah, and that's what Gambo just said. You were searching for red parts to make a red wall 746 telephone and Indian telephone parts. Indian telephones. That was it. It was you, wasn't it, Gambo? It's got the Indian. Was it you that's got the Indian phone, or was it Wesley? Was it you that's got it? Oh. Right. Somebody's got an Indian 300 series phone, haven't they? I've got one up here somewhere. Yeah. But we were also talking about Indian candlesticks, weren't we? I can get the Indian candlestick easily because it's here. It is, however, a little tangled up. What the hell's that it's got tangled up in? Yes, you've got one, Gambo. Right, I'll get to the 300 series in a minute. But for now, this is the Indian candlestick. It's a really, really good replica of a candlestick. It is surprisingly good. The thing that's not good about it is the wires, the cables. That's what gives it away. But everything else is pretty good. I can't remember what it's got in here, just off the top of my head. Yes, it's got a modern element in there. say, just held on with a bit of tape. So it is a replica. But as these things go, it is one of the better ones, because that sits in there quite nicely. But inside the phone itself, it's basically exactly as they were, sort of thing. It is particularly good on the inside, this. If I can get it apart, I will show you the insides of this, because it's worth having a look at. If I can get the screw out of the bottom. Yeah. So it's got one big screw in the bottom, just like, just like a genuine one. And then you take off a really heavy base, just like a genuine one. And then, just like a genuine one, it all pops out there. And I'm not going to take it any further out than this, because to do it I'd have to disconnect all the dial and that's in there. But it's got all the, that you can see, it's got all the connections. Pretty much like a genuine one would have in there. It's really surprisingly good. You know, really surprisingly good. So, and it goes together in just the same way. The only thing that's not so good about it, that doesn't go down quite so positively as it does on a genuine one. But yeah, as replicas go, it's one of the better ones. I've got to put it back together now, this. That is sometimes the hardest part. There we go. But yeah, replica candlestick, really quite good for an Indian one. It came with something else. It came as a, as a batch of phones, and I normally don't keep replica reproduction things, but I thought this one was so good that I've hung on to it. It's also, of course, interesting to show a replica. Now, what you wanted, Gambo, was the Indian one, didn't you? Oh, Spig is here. Hi, Spig. He says, you know, I had to change my password to get on here. Oh, I don't know why. And Gambo says the old style phone arrived as well. That was the wall phone, wasn't it, Gambo? The wooden wall phone. And you put a cord on that. And so I put a cord on that had a plug on it. I just put the wires onto the same wires, and it works perfectly and loud when it rings. Yeah, it should, I'm not surprised that one works, Gambo, because it is one. Again, it's a good replica from the modern age, so I'm not terribly surprised it kind of works out of the box, that one. But yeah, it is always nice to know that when they do work, though, isn't it? You know, when they arrive and you just plug them in and they work. It is a little win, that is. Right, I'm going to find you an Indian 300 series. Bear with me one moment. I know where it is, it's just getting to it. That's a real one. Have I got another one around here? And I've got at least one, I might even have two. Boom, 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 boom. Is it a 300 series that you've got, Gambo, or is it a Ericsson type thing? That's the question. Right, you can see it, I just can't get to it. You would want that one, wouldn't you? It's not one of these, is it, Gambo? It's not one of them. Alright. Which is one of these Ericsson type things that they have all over the world. It's not one of them. Is it what we're looking for? It is actually one of these, isn't it? What you've got, an Indian 300 series, which is what this is. Now, put the other one back now, if I can. See, one day, when I open my museum, this will all be a lot easier. Right. Is it? No, it's not like that. It does look like a 300. Right, it's one of these then, Gambo. It's one of these. Right, it's one of these. Now, this is actually a black one that at some point was sprayed blue. When I bought this, there were two available. It came off eBay and there were two. There was a blue one and a red one. And they both went for about a tenner each. And I thought I only want one. And I wish I'd got them both now. So here it is. Right, I will see if I can flip the camera around and show you. Can I do that? Right, now. How do I flip this camera? There we go. Right. So, here we are. See, it's got two things on the back for the curly cord and the line cord. this has had a blue line cord put on it, because say somebody's painted it blue, you can see little bits where it's chipped, and you can see it's actually a black phone underneath. If we turn the phone upside down, you see, for it to be a genuine 300 series, the feet are wrong. The feet are a bit too small. Some of these Indian ones, though, have different feet and things, but there it is. And you see it's been tropicalized because it's got bits of mesh in these cutouts to stop creepy crawlies and that getting in. But I'm guessing you want to see inside of it, so spin you back round for a minute and put you back up there while I attempt to get the bottom off this, which hasn't been off for quite a while. It has been off, but not for ages. It's harder to show you what I'm doing when I'm up here because I've only got one camera attached to a phone, so I have to pick the whole phone up and do it. So when I'm down in my normal place, there's two cameras set up. One's kind of overhead and one's looking at me, and I can cut between them, which makes life a lot easier. But there isn't room to have a computer and things up here. There's so many phones and test equipment and stuff that there isn't really room up here for live streaming, if I'm honest with you. Right, I've got the screws out now, I think. So I think I have anyway. Right, so the bottom should now come off, which it is doing. So here's what we've got on the insides. Right, there we go. That's what we've got on the insides. Now I know it's upside down, but you'll see Indian Telephone Industries on the capacitor there. I hope you can see that. Yeah. As you can see, it gives it away as being Indian because everything is basically attached to the base. Yeah, so you've got a rather dodgy looking induction coil there. I think that's seen better days. And the capacitor. Right, let me see if I can turn it round on this. Again, a very limited bench. Right, just bear with me 1 second. I'm very, very tight for space, even tighter for space than I am downstairs. Space is a real premium, I'll give anything to have space. So here it is. You see, and well, so you've got the white of your line cord there going to that terminal there. Now I said something about these run all the way around, didn't I, last week? So I'm not going to call it T1, T2 on that because it's not, is it? I can't remember what is what, these terminals, really. But white of your line cord goes to second one in on that top row there. and red of your line cord goes to second one in on the bottom row there, yeah, and then there's a wire jumper in the second one to the first one there. There's a jumper there, second one to third one on the top row, and there's a jumper for 5th to 6th on the top row there as well. And that, I think, is all the jumpers there are on it. So you don't use your blue and you don't use your green. So you're not using your blue, so you're not using the capacitor in the jack. So you're not using the GPO's capacitor in the jack. You're still using the capacitor in the phone, and this does work. I have tried this and it does work. So that's how I've done it in this one, or how it was done in this one when I got it, because it was already done. And it does work, this. But I can't remember what I told you, because I told you last week, didn't I, what to do from Bob Freshwater's website. But I can't quite remember what I said. But that is how it goes on here. And then the curly cord goes to green is on the end one there. Red of the curly cord is on the next one to it. White of the curly cord is on the next one to that. So third from the right. And that's it. There's only 3 going up the curly cord. So there must be a life for the receiver, a life for the transmitter, and an earth, I'm guessing. So yeah, upside down bells, because it's the easy way of mounting them. Don't know why the GPO never thought of doing it like that. And that's it, basically. That's the interior of an Indian 300 series. So I hope that that gives you some clues, Gambo, for your restoration. Hopefully it does. Right. Right. I'm just thinking to myself now. Am I reversed on this picture? Let me put a picture of something on there. Is the writing backwards? No, it's not, is it? It's right way around, I think. Right, so let's have a look what folk are saying in the old chat. And Gambo says, yes, please, especially where the handset is wired to the internal block. So according to this then, Gambo, your handset goes, as you look at it with the terminal block towards you and the bells at the top. So terminal block at the bottom, bells at the top. Look at it like that. The handset is wired to the bottom 3 connections on the right, yeah? And on the far right of the bottom 3, it's the green. Next to it, so second from the right, is the red, and third from the right is the white of the handset cord. And it's a 3-core handset cord, red, green and white. So I don't know if I can get the handset. Oh, I can get the handsets out. So yeah, see, that one has got one of these old GPO style elements to it. It's just got the white fitted to the surround of that. Actually, I'm surprised this phone works because the centre tab on that is covered in paint, so I'm really surprised it works. Really surprised. So you've just got white in the bottom end. Can I get the top one off? And in the top end, slide your thing off. Oh, and it's all been painted inside, so you can't see what's what colour in there. Look, that's oh dear. What they've done in there again. I'm amazed it works. Have it all been painted like that? But it does. I'm trying to see what it says on this handset, because it doesn't seem to say ITI on it, and I'm wondering if it's a Siemens Brothers handset. I can't tell because it's the little lozenge thing in the middle's been painted over. But there you have it. Christopher says, Andy, did you get the photos of the new phone I got? I have, Christopher, but because I'm not downstairs, I've not got them with me because I'm not on the computer. But yes, it did come through, although I've not actually looked at it yet because I've not opened all the emails and things yet. But it is here. Right, I've got to put this back together now, which is a bit of a feat to do. Because there's rather a lot of wires and jelly crimps and things to get in the way of this. Is that it? Right, I think that might be it. You can't see it, but I can. Well, that feels better. Has it gone down this time? Yeah. Yeah, it's screwing down this time. I think. Yes, I've had it ages, this blue phone. It was one of the first phones that I got. I think it was the first Bakelite phone. I got this. There we go. It's back together again. All back in one piece. As you can see. Cool. Right. So there we have it. Right. I can stand you back up there like that. And look at that again. And yeah. That's it. So there is the Indian phone. I mean, one day I will unbluify it and turn it back into a black one, which is what it should be, but I've not actually gotten around to it yet. And for an Indian dial, it's actually quite a good one. You know, much of the end of that is. Looks like it's popping out of there. Seat that back in there. That little. They've got like a snap ring around the outside of them, and you have to snap it back into place sometimes because it tries to snap itself out. Right, that is that then. So I hope that helps, Gambo, and hopefully you'll be able to get yours back together. Right, I'll put this back on the shelf because it's heavy. There we go, back on the shelf. So that's the Indian 300 series. Getting quite nice phones. I don't know if they still make them in India. I've got a feeling they don't now. I'm not sure, but they certainly did until relatively recently. But interesting that it's got one of these in it, because these go right back to candlesticks. You can get a candlestick 150 with one of these in, or you can get a 700 series phone one of these in. And it's amazing when you think that a part that fits into a handset from a phone made in the 1980s is the same part that fitted into the handset of a phone made in the 1920s. 60 years, and they never changed the part really, or well, they changed it, but they made sure it was backwards compatible. But yeah, right. So that is that. I've got another telephone chassis up here. It is currently being evaluated for possible work on it. This one's a 706 chassis. This one. This is one we are looking at doing something with. So yeah, got quite a few chassis kicking about at the minute, and one or two trim phones and things hanging around as well. So yeah, we've got all sorts, absolutely all sorts. Put loads of cases. If you know anybody that wants any 746 cases, particularly ivory or grey ones, I have literally got hundreds, particularly the ivory ones. Actually, I've got quite a few grey ones though as well. Occasionally one in other colours. I've just happened to have a black one on the top of the stack here, but I've got so many that. And they take up so much space. I've got humongous piles of them, these cases. And I mean, occasionally you see a split one in the pile, but that's because they've been sort of crammed together. And I've never took them apart while I've had them. I mean, they've all crammed together. So you see how they're piled one on top of another. And occasionally you'll see a split one amongst them, but there's just loads of them, and that's only like one set of stacks, because at the other side here there's another set, you see, all taped together so I can move them without them all falling apart. But so if you know anybody who wants a 746 case, please let me know, because I would love to get rid of some of these. It's one of those things where they were going to be scrapped, and I got them because I thought, well, eventually somebody will want these parts, but I think it might be a slightly excessive number of them. So if you know anybody who wants one, let me know. Right. Okay. And oh, the test. If you want to see the test thing, this is the test set thing that we use. These went in exchanges and could test. Basically, they went between an exchange and a subscriber's line, and they could test either way. They could test to the exchange, or they could test the line as that first switch there is. You see, I think that way to test towards the exchange. So this then acts like the subscriber, or you can test line. So this now acts like the exchange. So you can actually call a subscriber. So yeah, it partially works at the minute because it needs a power supply that didn't come with it, and I've not got an external power supply. So it only partially works at the minute. But when I get the power supply on it, I'm hoping I'll get the pulses per second thing working. So we'll actually be able to measure pulses and stuff on it. But you can use it as a telephone at the minute. You can make and receive calls on it at the minute. So that's that. But I'm not often up here, so not everybody's seen it. Right, that is that then. So, how are we doing in the old chat? It might be a shorter show than normal tonight, because I've got one or two things to get done. But yeah, I hope that helps you anyway, Gambo. I'm wanting to call it a 300 series, but of course it's not, because it's Indian. But that's what I'm kind of wanting to call it, really. So yeah, I hope that helps anyway. Right. What else have I got to tell you? Nothing really has arrived this week, telephone related. I've been doing stuff with canal boats and things this week, and also getting ready for some solar panels, because by this time next week, the roof above me here is going to have about 13 or 14 solar, or maybe even 15 solar panels on it. So hopefully we will no longer be reliant on the national grid, says he, hopefully. So it's pandemonium this week, because they're going to be putting up scaffolding and things, and we've got to move stuff outside because there's stuff in the way where the scaffolding's got to go, and yeah, it's going to be absolute pandemonium this week. And then all the scaffolding and stuff will be up, and then yeah, so next week will be interesting, because it will have been chaos on Friday and Saturday, next weekend probably. So by the time we get to Sunday, I'll be ready for a rest, to be quite honest. I'll be ready to sit down and do this and have a bit of a rest. Gambo says, thanks Andy, the handset is now wired onto the block correctly. We'll put the new line cord I bought for it, but need a new dial cord, as there's loose wires for it. Yeah, the thing to the dial. Do you mean the little harness that goes between the dial and the terminals? Yes, they are loose on Indian ones. When they make phones in India, they do not do the same quality of workmanship, shall we say, that companies used to do for the GPO. So you can forget about all your nicely laced wiring looms. You can forget that. You'll just have 5 or 6 wires going off the terminal block to the dial. And what's happened on that one that I've got is the dial's been taken out, and then, because the dial comes out the front, of course, the dial's been taken out, and then it's been twisted a number of times to twist all those cords together, all those wires together. So that is how they did it. They just take the dial out the front, spin it round a few times, so it twists the wires, the individual wires together, and that is basically how they do it. Have the wires connected at each end, and just twist the whole dial round. That is the Indian way of doing it. Yeah, so they don't have a nicely laced. I've got one. No, I haven't. They don't have a nicely laced wiring loom for the dial, like we're used to in the UK. It just doesn't happen. It was all about doing it as cheaply as possible in India. You know, to make them as cheap as they possibly could, and that's what they managed to do, evidently. So yeah, that's what happened there. So the individual wires are probably right, Gambo. That's how they do it. I mean, if you're feeling clever, you can always lace it. Of course, you can do lacing, do a lace loom. You can do that if you're feeling clever. If you're not feeling so clever, a couple of little tiny cable ties, or even if you've got a bit of the normal wire from your drop cable lurking around, it's solid core wire and it stays where you put it. You know, out of your pairs in your cable. If you've got, I've always got little bits of it kicking around, and you can just do it like a bread tie and do that round your wiring loom. And because it's a solid core bit of wire, it does it quite nicely. And I often find bits of this holding wiring looms together inside British phones, actually. So yeah. Okie dokie. Right, I think that is about where we are going to leave it for today, as it's a bit quiet. Gamal says, yeah, the dial loom has come loose from the O-ring terminal. O-ring terminal? Is there an O-ring around it? I don't know. Maybe yours is a bit more posh than mine. Oh, hello, it's typing something else. It says I'm, but that's all it says. I'm never quite sure if this chat works right sometimes. You never quite know. We are looking at doing the chat some other way, possibly on future episodes, because the future of Odyssey, who are providing the chat here, and some people might be watching live on Odyssey, the future of Odyssey is looking a bit unstable, shall we say, at the moment. We don't know. Odyssey itself is up for sale, the company, and we don't know who might take it over, if it might shut down, what might happen to it. Oh, Dominic's with us. He says, hello all, currently on a train on my way back from Worcester. That means you're going to disappear when you go through a tunnel, doesn't it? It says, I might not make it back before the end of the stream. No, we were thinking of possibly calling it a day, Dominic. Because, yeah, shorter one than normal, because I'm up here in the loft, as you can see. So we were thinking of saying that's that for today, because, well, just so busy at the minute. So busy this week. But, yeah. So the bits and pieces for the upside down phone, I've not really found any bits and pieces yet. I need to find a handset, don't I? I need to find a red handset now. This is where we might hit a snag with the upside down red wall phone, because although I've got gazillions of handsets, I don't think I've got a spare red one. Probably got the end caps of a red. I might have got the end caps. Have a look, see if I've got any end caps for a red one. I think there's some end caps in one of these drawers up here. Oh yeah. Oh. I've got one end cap in here. In this drawer of end caps. So I need the other end. Right, folks, you might be able to help me then. So, here's my... Alright, hang on. Here's my drawer of end caps for the handsets. As you can see, the original type and the later type, but the red ones, I've got the end you're talking to, but not the end you put to your ear. I've got two of those, the end you're talking to, in red, but not the bit you put to your ear in red. So, unless I've got one somewhere else kicking around, that's where I normally put all the end caps and things. So, it's got the ear end of one of those. Get in touch. Right, oh. You see, that's the problem having it on the phone. Things fall over. Right, so we've got the ear end of that. No, I've got the talkie end of that, but not the ear end of it. That's in the other drawer. Well, not end caps at all in there. I have got some more end caps, but I don't think I've got a red one kicking around. And I don't think I've got a red actual main bit of the handset. So it might end up being a red phone with an ivory handset for now. We'll work on it. We will work on it. Or I might be able to do it in green. Do need to have a look. I do need to get all this lot sorted out up here. Really do need to get it sorted out. Yeah. I could do with doing a lot of sorting out. But I need an army of people for about a month to get everything sorted out up here. Ooh. Thick dial opals, 706, not 746. They're good. Ooh. Yeah, they're rare. Proper ones. Proper 706 ones. Right, so that is probably about it for today. I will just check back in with the chat. Dominic says, I saw a rare K8 phone box at Shrub Hill Station. That's the one with the big piece of glass, isn't it, Dominic? The sort of moderny looking one with the big bit of glass in it. That's a K8, I think, isn't it? Just one sheet of glass in each panel. Gambo says, the metal terminal that you screw onto the block, the wires have come off a few of them. you screw onto the block, the wires have come off, a few of them. The metal terminal that you screw onto the block. Sorry, Gambo, I'm not following. I'm being a bit thick, I think, aren't I? And Dominic says he saw a lot of interesting foam bits yesterday at the Derby Silk Mill Museum. Oh. Gambo says, I might have a red ear cap somewhere in my spares box. We'll have a good look and let you know. Cheers, Gambo. That would be ace if we can find one of those. Yeah, if we do it, I've even got a red one of those, look, that I might be able to put on it to really wind people up. Yeah, that's a proper one as well. That's an original one. I've got all sorts up here, absolutely all sorts of bits, but never the bit you actually want. Gambo says, my head's muddled today, not explaining myself properly. I know the feeling, Gambo. I know the feeling. I get days like that as well. In fact, it's not days, it's months. I get months like that. Yeah. But yeah, we'll get the gist of it. Right, I think that is probably about as far as we are going to go for today. I can hear Thor barking his head off downstairs, so I better go and see what he's done, see if he's eaten the sofa or something. But we will hopefully be back same time, possibly a slightly different place next week. Remember, 7 o'clock rather than 6:30. Now it's getting daylight because basically I'm outside in the daylight because I've got so much to do outside, it's unreal. Yeah, so 7 o'clock next week we'll be back for another Andy's Shed Live. So until then, have a fantastic week ahead, everybody. So it's been a slightly short one today, and we will see you here next week. Bye for now.